Okay, good afternoon. Welcome back to Political Science class, session 2 of the day. And as we discussed in the morning session, uh, now two students are going to present their seminar topic. So seminars are here. One is Mr. Abhiram, another is Mr. Kevin Kosi. So we'll start with Abhiram's seminar. Okay, Abhiram, you can start. Come on.
My current just came back, so Wi-Fi is connecting that.
Okay, we'll wait. What about Kevin? Can you start now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then Kevin start. Abhiram, be ready.
1 second, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Now I can start.
Okay. Kevin in trouble?
Yes, sir. Can Abhiram go first?
Okay,
Just
Abhiram,
having some
start.
technical difficulties.
Start. Abhiram, start.
Okay. Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Abhiram from class 11C. Here to present the seminar on the topic first past the post system and proportional representation, which is also known as FPTP and PR. First past the post selection system. As you can see in this newspaper clipping, it talks about the historic moment in India's democracy in Lok Sabha 1984, in which the Congress party came to power by winning 415 out of the 543 Lok Sabha seats, which is more than 80% of the seats. The Congress party got 48% of the votes, which means that the voters have vote Congress party. And vote the Congress party is 48%, but still managed to get 80% of seats in the Lok Sabha. As you can see in this box here, the Congress party has 48% of votes and 415 seats, and other parties like BJP have 7.4% of votes and 2 seats. This is due to the reason of a special method of election system, which are in the FPTP, which includes the entire country is divided into 543 constituencies, which means like a country is divided into 543 constituencies, and an entire constituency is elected to one representative. The voters who vote for a candidate can only vote once, and the candidate who secures the highest number of votes in that constituency is declared to be elected. The candidate from a certain party which has the highest number of votes in that particular constituency is declared elected. It is kept to be noted that whoever has the most votes, that other candidates is whoever has the other most votes in another party, he is also declared to be elected. This method is called first past the post system, which is also known as FPTP. Next election system, proportional representation, which is also known as PR election system. In the PR system, there would be two variations. In some other countries like Israel and Netherlands, the entire country is treated as one constituency, and the seats are oh, 1 second. Seats are allotted to each party according to its share of votes in a national nation. So in a country like Israel or Netherlands, the country is treated as one constituency. The country is treated as one constituency, and the seats are allotted each party by the share of their votes in the national nation. Second point, the other method is when when a country is divided into several multi-members constitutions, as in Argentina and Portugal. Each party prepares a list of candidates of each constituency depending on how many have to be elected from their constituency. Like a certain party has this certain amount of candidates in a list, and depending on how much have to be elected from the constituency. The seats in the constituency are distributed on the basis of votes polled by the party. The seats for a certain party, the seats for a certain party is decided by how much votes the party has obtained. Proportional representation in Israel. Obviously, Israel follows a proportional system of election. Each election of the legislature takes place every 4.
So I think Abraham is facing a network issue. Hello. Please hold on.
Same phone, so my video might go off in between. Good evening, all. I'm here to take a seminar on the functions of the Indian Constitution. So I'm audible, right?
Yeah, fine. Okay, continue.
Okay. So the first function. The first function of a constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allow for a minimal coordination among members of a society. They should not only allow minimal coordination, but also should provide an assurance to citizens that the others will follow them too. If they think the others won't follow it, they would have no reason to follow it themselves, because they need an assurance that other people are going to follow it, or they need assurance that there won't be any crime happening in the city, for example. The second function of the constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in a society. It decides how the government will be constituted. If the parliament has power to enact laws, there should be a law that gives the parliament the power to enact laws. Likewise, this is the function that constitutes the government in the first place. The third function of a constitution is to set some limits on what a government can impose on the citizens. These limits are fundamental in the sense that the government may never trespass them. It basically just limits the government's powers. The fourth and final function of the constitution is to enable the government to fulfill the aspirations of society and create conditions for a just society. Thank you.
Okay, Abraham, continue.
Should I continue from where I stopped, or?
Yeah.
Okay. As I was saying, every party declares a list of its candidates, but voters vote for the party and not for the candidate. It means in Israel, the voters, each and every party has a list of candidates, but the voters vote for the party and not for the candidates. Third point, this allows even smaller parties with very small support base to get representation in legislature. Fourth, like this allows like smaller parties to get support for their representation in the legislature. Fourth point, this often leads to multi-party coalition government.
Coalition.
Coalition government. Um, as you can see in this box, this shows the results of the 2015 elections in Israel.
Okay.
How does PR work in Rajya Sabha elections? A third variant of PR, the single transferable vote system, which is also known as STV, is followed for Rajya Sabha elections. Each state has specific quota of seats in the Rajya Sabha. Like a particular state has this much amount of quota of seats in the Rajya Sabha. The members are elected by the representative state legislative assemblies. The members from a particular state are elected by the respective state legislative assemblies. The voters are the MLAs in that state. Every votes are required to rank candidates according to reserve performance. The voter is required to rank candidate according to reserve performance in the election. To be declared the winner, the candidate must secure a minimum quota of votes, which is determined by the formula. In order to be declared the winner, the candidate must have a minimum quota of votes, which is determined by this formula. That is total number of votes divided by the total number of candidates to be elected plus one. Comparison of FPP and PR election system. As you can see, in FPTP, the country is divided into small geographical constituencies or districts, which means that in a country there are different districts like Chalakati district, Ernakulam district, and Thrissur district. Every constituency elects one representative. In a particular constituency, one voter elects one candidate is elected from the certain constituency. The voters votes for a candidate. Like the certain voter who is in a particular constituency votes for a candidate, in a certain party. So a party may get more seats than votes in its legislature. If a certain party wins the election, if a certain party wins an election, they may get more percentage, more seats than the percentage of votes that they get. As we see in the historical moment in India's democracy, with the Congress Party 48% of votes and 250 seats. Candidates who wins the election may not get majority votes. Like, if a candidate of a certain party wins an election, they may not have the majority vote, highest amount of vote. Examples are UK and India. Proportional representation system. Large geographical areas are demarcated as constituencies. The entire country may be
Demarcated.
demarcated as constituency. The entire country may be a single constituency. In a large, like suppose if in a large geographical area, as Israel, it may be considered as a single constituency. It is considered as a single constituency. The more than one representative may be elected from one constituency. Third point, voters vote for the party. Like if a certain voter votes for a party, like a certain voter votes for the party instead of the candidate. Uh, fourth, fourth point, every party gets seats in the legislative proportion to the percentage of votes that they get. Like if they have a certain amount of votes, they get the same amount of seats.
Whatever the
Candidates,
proportion of the
the proportion of the
votes.
percentage of votes. Candidates who wins the election gets the majority of votes. If a candidate from a particular party wins an election, they have the highest amount of votes. Examples are Israel and Netherlands.
Maybe
This I
50%
conclude my
equals
seminar.
40.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you, Mr. Abram. Okay, so almost all the things are included in that. Okay, so you explained also. Okay, somewhat fine it is. Okay, and the next day seminar is by Amal Roshan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Amal Roshan and Sandra, I think so. Okay, yeah, you know your topics well, right? I have one day with you.
Amendment
okay?
Act.
Amendment. Okay, so for amendment is completed. Okay, so we'll come back to our topic here. Kevin Kosi, he's traveling, I think. Okay, let it be. Come back to our topic. Here it is. I hope you are able to see the screen properly. Okay, I'm increasing the size of the screen here. In the morning session, we discussed about the free and fair elections. Okay, delimitation commission and challenges to free and fair election. The next one, next topic for visibility is the election commission. Election commission. Okay, clear? So already we know that it's election commission is an independent body that appointed by the government. Basically, it's a constitutional body too. Okay, clear or not? Okay, and this is the body basically, or election commission is the organization basically conducting, or those who have the right to conduct elections in the country or in our country. So Article 324 of the Indian Constitution provides for the independent election commission, okay, for the superintendence, okay, direction and control the electoral roll and the conduct of elections in India. Okay, so election commission's duties. What are the duties of election commission? Okay, the superintendents, okay, observing what is going on, direction, giving a direction, idea, and control the electoral roll. Okay, electoral roll means it's a document, includes the name of eligible voters, clear, along with their ID card number, their address, everything will be there in that electoral roll. Okay, so election commission is the body that publish the electoral roll and the conduct of elections in India. So, election commission that established related with the Article 324 of the Indian Constitution, and this Article 324 giving some rights or some function to the Indian election commission of India. They are superintendence of election, direction, okay, control of the electoral roll and conduct the elections in India. Okay, underline that. Okay, wait, you don't have this material with you, right? So I will give time to write down later. To assist the Election Commission of India, there's a chief electoral officer. Morning told you people to find out the name of the chief election commissioner of India. What is his name?
Sushil Chandra.
Sushil
Chandra.
What about others? Any other answers are there? Okay,
Arun Pandey. Pandey.
No, different answers are there. I thought that. Okay. And who is the Kerala election officer in Kerala? Chief election officer of Kerala?
Sir, A. Shah Jahan.
Again, controversy. Any other answers are there? No, no. Okay, then I will give you a full day for you people. Okay, tomorrow take it and find out the exact answer and tell me. Okay, so I am not, yeah, I'm not opposing any answers here. Okay, so please try to find out the correct answers, accurate answers for tomorrow. Okay, but tomorrow, day after tomorrow full day is there for you people. Okay, so here in this sense, okay, name of the persons, those who holding the power or sitting in the positions. Okay, maybe updates are necessary. You have to observe their tenure there. Okay, time period. Okay, so check it and tell me tomorrow, everyone. Okay, so to assist the Election Commission of India, there is a chief electoral officer in every state. Okay, so state-wise election commissioners are there, basically termed as chief electoral officer of the state. Okay, clear? Each state have that post here. Okay, chief electoral officer will be there for the each and every state have that one. Okay, that particular post. The election commission is not responsible for the conduct of local body elections. Okay, clear? The chief election commission or election commission will not interfere for the or to conduct these local self elections there. Okay, only state election commission will do that. Okay, next one, let's see. The state election commissioner work independently for the election commission of India, and each has its own sphere of operation. So state election commission have a sphere of operation, means a area to work, and election commission also have its own area. I mean election commission of India. Okay, so state election commissioners who work independently of the election commission of India, and each has its own sphere of operation. Different places are there. So state election commissioners will work within the state. Okay, they will discuss the things or control the things or give direction in the elections within the state. At the same time, election commission of India countrywide observance will be there. In 1993, the commission became multi-member body, a chief election commissioner and two election commissioners. Okay, clear? So before 1993, only one election commissioner, and there is no other staff. Other staff in the sense of there is no other person those with the almost the same power there. Only the election commissioner will be there. But after 1993, a chief election commissioner is there, and the same time two election commissioners. Okay, assistants are there. The chief election commissioner and the two election commissioners are appointed by the President of India. Okay, of India, sorry, President of India on the advice of the Council of Ministers. So, Chief Election Commissioner and the two election commissioners were appointed by the President of India with the discussion or after the discussion with the Council of Ministers, I mean Cabinet Ministers. They are appointed for a 6-year term or continue till the age of 65. Okay, whichever is earlier. Clear? Maximum tenure is a 6 year, or they have to retire there at the age of 65 years. Okay, clear or not? Whichever is earlier. A person appointed in the age of 64, he can be in the post for only 1 year, because next year he will become returned to 65, so there is no chance to continue. Clear? A person those who are appointed in the age of 40, he can be in the post for 6 years. Okay, minimum for 6 years. Okay, that's it. The CEC, Chief Election Commissioner, can be removed before the expiry of the term by the President if both houses of the Parliament make such a recommendation with a special majority. So the President can change, okay, or withdraw or remove the Chief Election Commissioner from his post with the special request of the Parliament or each house of the Parliament with a special majority. Special majority. Okay, clear? So please write down the question, right? Short note on the election commission. Come on fast, write down. So next topic for you is the functions of election commission. Functions of election commission. The election commission of India has a wide range of functions. So number of functions are there for the election commission. Here are some. First of all, it is supervise the preparation of up-to-date voters list. Okay. Electoral roll, we know that, right? Voters list they will prepare. Okay, election commission with the number of eligible voters. Okay, so we are able to find our name in that particular voters list from our locality. If it is not so, we are able to give a complaint to add our name in that list. And they will remove, I mean, election commission will remove the names of the people, those who died, or the people they are not in place, or they shifted from that place to some other area. Clear? That's the active. That's a function of a election commission. Secondly, it also determines the timing of election and prepares the election schedule. Okay. So election commission will prepare what? Timing for elections, and the election schedule will prepare by the election commission. Okay, everything is under the control of the election commission. The commission also implements a model code of conduct for parties and candidates to hold free and fair elections. So code of conduct, okay, rules and regulations, how to behave, okay, or how to conduct or participate in the election, all such things will be provided by the election commission. The EC, election commission, accords recognition of political parties and allowed symbols to each of them. So it is election commission that are recognizing political parties. Okay, clear or not? So national parties, we know that recognized parties are there. So who recognize them? It is the election commission, and allowing them symbols. Okay, allotment of symbols. That also the activity that related with the election commission and its functions. Okay. So please take a screenshot of this particular area. Functions of election commission and write it later. Okay, guys, and time to wind up the session. Okay, please read the notes that what we wrote today. Okay, so we will meet next day. The students those who assigned for taking seminar in the next class, please prepare for that too. Okay, thank you.